Tell them I'm a winner, yeah, still a believer. Give thanks, so when me I bleed. Set speed, I carry on now. Big man in town, them shoulda know say me I keep it crown, yeah. Plant seeds, work feed. Well, enough of them want ready born. When the food gone so long, them run. And them can't be found. Still man fight the fight, me not give in. Day and night, me keep on building. Way of life, me breathe out, breathing. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them I'm a winner, yeah. Now pop down, now Jonah, turn in a sinner. Oh, man still a believer. Even if me get knocked down, me keep the bounce. Now see me front, you got me from a little and a grow. Come on a winner, yeah. Still a believer.
Good evening. Happy Friday to everybody. Thank you for joining us for Friday with the Fellas. Well, it's Friday with the Fella. It's still the Fellas, but there's only two of us, figuratively, because one's missing in action. I don't know where he's at. And, of course, Sonia knows she's doing her lawyer thing, and good for her. We want her to do that. So I'm not really too mad about her not being here because she's doing her thing. Anyway, that being said, I am B, and right next to me is JTrain Martin. How you doing today, James?
B Shrill, it's been a day. It's been a day, but I'm glad it's Friday, and I'm ready for the weekend, and I'm ready for some football. Looks like we got a lot of things coming on, and we got some games going on tonight, and you can give me the feeling on what's going on with the 3 preseason games that are playing right now.
Yeah, I like the Erykah Badu. Thing there. You know, it's been a day. Anyway, well, right now I'm kind of looking at the Dallas-Atlanta game. Dallas is winning 14-3. Backups are playing. The Kansas City-Chicago game had all their starters playing. Well, majority of their starters playing. The Chicago has a few players missing off their defense. But there he is. What's going on, Mike? Come on, man. Where you at? Look at that. Yeah, well, you know we're going to talk Cowboys anyway. Yeah, there's 2 of us, Mad Yinser.
One of our guys is in the comments instead of on the screen.
I don't know what's going on with that whole situation, but anyway. So that's what we got going on right now. There's one other game. Let me tell you about that one that's playing right now. It is the Tennessee Titans versus the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, I think the Titans are playing with Cam Ward. And they're up 14-3 on the Vikings. Vikings are playing their secondaries. Kansas City just scored another field goal, so it's 10-0. Those are the 3 games, or there's supposed to be 4 games. Oh yeah, here you go. Philadelphia's beating the Jets 6-3. So
isn't Atlanta playing tonight too?
Yeah, Atlanta's losing 3-14 to Dallas.
Gotcha. You said that. Yes.
2 of your favorite plays. 2 of your favorite.
Oh, absolutely. Go Dallas.
It's right there. Oh, he's having a nice dinner. Okay. From time to time. Okay. Why talk about the girl? Hey, because it's all about Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones going at it. There's two interviews. I believe, James, you saw the interview with Michael Irvin and Jerry Jones. I saw a little bit of the one with Stephen A. Smith and Jerry Jones.
My first mind was to catch the one with Stephen A. Smith. I mean, just off the thumbnail alone, it looked like it was just going to be pure comedy gold. Mm-hmm. But I decided because everything that was being mentioned regarding Micah Parsons, I knew they were going to talk about it with Michael Irvin. And so I said, let's just watch that one. And so I got what I needed out of that particular interview, but missing the highlights. I'm going to watch it tonight with Stephen A. Smith and Jerry Jones. But regardless, Jerry Jones is just out of his mind. And not I don't know. I don't want to just say that there's anything specifically real going on, but man, there's some high level of narcissism that might be there.
Really? Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Especially when he was talking to Stephen A. Smith, and there's one portion where he's talking about, well, there's three people that are involved in this conversation. It's Micah, me, and down a mile from us is his agent. Now you got to remember his agent is a pretty well-known agent in the NFL, but he's like, yeah, but we made these two are going to get the done, meaning him and Micah are going to get the contract done. We don't need him. Jerry, do you know it is 2025, right? And agents are part of the deal here. That's what the an NFL Players Association set up in their contract that there's agents representing these players.
And he kept specifically alluding to that Micah and I had a deal. We had a deal. No, this is not a rerun. This is just news that keeps going on about Jerry Jones and Michael Parsons. It's not a rerun. This is August 22nd, 2025. We are actually talking about this again. We're almost in September. So, no, this is live.
But everybody's sick of it.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Let me just mention this one thing, and then we can move on about Jerry Jones. He just kept reiterating that we had a deal, that I was going to make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL history. And I disagree with that because one thing he kept saying that, but he never mentioned how long is the deal. How long? Magic Johnson was the highest paid NBA player in the 80s. He got a $25 million deal for 25 years, $1 million a year. So my point in saying that is that there's a possibility that he may have just given him a contract that said, yes, technically you're the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, but it may be a long-term deal of guarantees. And so I can see why the agent probably said to shove this up your ASS. He did say that. And they said, he told Michael Irvin this. He said, you can take this and shove it up your ASS. And I guess
Jerry Jones said that. Jerry Jones
said that to Michael Irvin, that the agent said that to him, said that to Dallas. Agent said, is that true? We have no idea. But this is what was said.
I mean, I'm sure there's a professionality here that I don't think that agent would have said that. That's going above and beyond. I mean, you're being volatile at that point as an agent, and you should. And there's no reason to be at, even with these negotiations being as tough as they are with Jerry Jones. I just don't see that being a level of professionalism any agent would have. I think Jerry Jones is just trying to draw more attention to him to make him righter in this situation. He was always talking about, I was going to make him the highest guaranteed player in NFL history and blah, blah, blah. I said, dude, you're just telling us bits and parts of it. You're not telling us the whole contract. So that therein lies the problem. And then, of course, Mike is not doing his due justice. I mean, both of the parties they're both being petty, okay? They're supposed to be communicating with each other. I think the reason why they're not is because, Jerry Jones has already put off the agent, basically. Like, dude, we made this contract. Me and Micah did. You were no part of it. But, dude, this is not 1994, okay? This is 2025. They have to have an agent present. That's the whole point of having an agreement, players agreement. Anyway. This
is why Dallas is the greatest show on earth. It's the biggest circus in the world, and we're all taking part of it because we're getting drawn in, and we got guys like Steve-O saying, please, agent that just fired himself. Nobody wants to be a part of this, but it's hard not to talk about because Jerry knows some kind of way he's going to find himself in the middle of the situation in the media. He's going to go make his rounds, which he just did with both Michael Irvin and Stephen A. Smith, respectfully. And we're talking about it. And at the end of the day, this is my perception and what I believe. He's going to keep making rounds, and Yes, he's going to keep making rounds, and he's going to definitely pay this man and actually make him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. After all is said and done, all this circus and high flying trapeze acts and animals jumping through hoops and fire and everything like that, it's definitely it's going to happen. That's
No, I mean,
I'm
the
saying
worst
it
that he
here.
could possibly do, and I mean, Micah could sit out too. I don't see that happening, but I mean, he's in a position where he could because he's a young player. But I mean, what he also that Jerry said was that, hey, if I have to pay him, I have to pay him a year at a time, I will. Meaning, franchise tag him. And dude, you're coming out of more money that way if you do that. That's not making sense of the whole situation. When he said that, I was like, dude, you're actually paying him more money if you franchise tag him every year. So why don't you?
But then ultimately, they're not going to go every year. He's going to pay him this year if he does franchise. But this is what Jerry's doing. Jerry is playing the game like he likes to play it. He's playing the game. He puts it out there on these. He goes on these social media interviews and he talks about him. And virtually what he's saying is, I'm telling you what we did and what we're going to do. And you need to make your next move. You and your agent need to make your next move. This is what we're doing. If we're not going to talk behind the scenes, I'm going to talk about you in public and make you look like public enemy number one, which he's making both of. They're both looking crazy. They're both looking like fools here. But at the end of the day, I just stand on what I think. He's going to pay him. It's just going to. Jerry likes to make. He wants to make sure that Dallas is still the number one ranked NFL team. And when I say ranked, not as far as play, but what they're worth. I mean, Dallas is by far the highest ranked worth team. I think it's like 10 plus billion or something like that. And so it's going to still be like that. It's just because of this craziness.
I talked about this with Tip on his show today. And I was saying, this dude is spending too much time and this kind of effort. He should be spending too much time and too much effort in getting, trying to get that team ready for a Super Bowl. And I understand that, every year they should be in a Super Bowl talk and everything like that. Not last year, but this year they should, every year, every team should be striving for a Super Bowl. That I agree with. But at the same time, it's kind of like the New York Yankees. You strive, they strive to be in the World Series every year. And most of the time that happens. And that's what you expect from the Cowboys. And I'm sorry. That's just the way that the league is, fans in the league, look at the Cowboys. You should be winning because since you're America's team, But now they haven't won in 30 years, and people keep bringing up, well, the 49ers haven't won in 30 years either. I said, but at least they've been to a couple Super Bowls. They might have not won them, but they've been to a couple Super Bowls. That is your goal, to get to a Super Bowl. Winning it is a cherry on top, obviously. But getting to the Super Bowl is a feat in its own, because that means you were better than 31 other teams. So
one thing I got to say, I got to give Jerry his credit. And as much as I don't like to do that, Jerry Jones has the Dallas Cowboys have a documentary out, and I have yet to see it, but it's getting a lot of rave reviews. Don't get me wrong. In the 90s, whether you love them, hate them, or was indifferent, the Cowboys were the team. They were the team to beat, and they went to 3 Super Bowls out of 4 years. Happy Friday to you, Pink Fan Fur. Thank you for your reels. Always doing a great job on that, representing us. We appreciate you. I would say Dallas Cowboys, they were just great. I mean, on and off the field, they were just a soap opera, like the show Dallas. If you go back in the 80s, the show Dallas was great. I mean, they're no different. They were the show. They were the show in the 90s. I mean, we had cocaine, we had fights, we had holdouts, we had Super Bowl champions. I mean, it was all kind of drama and everything. It was just all wrapped up in one big sitcom, and it was great. And they're still trying to live in that. And Jordan, I hate that people probably would think I'm crazy for comparing this, but I mean, they were Chicago. Chicago was the team in the 90s, and Jordan is still relevant. And he got the Last Dance. A lot of young people got to know who Michael Jordan is. I think the same thing is going to happen with the Dallas Cowboys by watching this show. A lot of people are going to know who Jerry Jones is. A lot of people are going to know who Michael Irvin is. Young people are going to know who Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith is, because people don't follow like they used to. But when they start watching and seeing stuff like this, it's going to make them more relevant, and it's going to make them probably be. And I hate to say Steve-O or anybody else that's watching, they're going to continue to be America's team. It's just what it is, and they're not winning anything. Just like the Bulls aren't winning anything, but we're still thinking about
it's all that fun stuff
with the cocaine and the women and everything else, right? Yeah. That's hilarious.
Well, as long as nobody shoots JR, or in this case, JJ,
right?
we're good. We'll stay on that path there. But yeah, it's just a mess. I mean, and we also talked about how relevant it is in the media and how much publicity you're getting in the media. Well, if I watch NFL, the NFL channel all the time, usually just to catch up on my football stuff. And they don't talk about as much as social media does. Social media, every time I have an X, alert or anything like that, it's all about Jerry Jones. I'm like, dude, they're just, on social media, it's inundated with Dallas Cowboy stuff. But when you watch the NFL Network, it has some Dallas stuff in it. They explain some stuff, and obviously ESPN has a Stephen A. Smith interview with him, and they did show some of the Michael Irvin interview with him too. But at the same time, I hear just as much as about on the NFL Network as Hendrickson and his little contract situation going on, and Scary Terry and his contract situation going on. So, I mean, it's just social media. Just boy, if we didn't have social media, this would not be that much of a story. It'd be a story, but it wouldn't be that much of a story.
Yeah. Look, you just mentioned the two players that are still without contracts. Negotiating and pouting and everything else. I think the biggest thing right now for those players, which sucks for both Scary Terry McLaurin and Trey Hendrickson, is that they're 30 plus, and it's gonna be it fair or not, they're not going to get the money that they believe that they're due, and rightfully so. I think they are due that. I mean, just from the play that they were given, they're respectively for their teams probably the best at their position and what's needed for their team. Now, mind you, Trey Hendrickson might be to a lesser degree, because even with Trey Hendrickson, that defense just got awful. It just got awful. And so they're going to be depending on Joe Burrow and company to score 45 plus 50 points a game to try to stay relevant in that division in AFC North. But that being said, on the opposite side, with the Commanders, they really need Terry McLaurin. I just don't, even with the addition of Deebo Samuels, I don't see them going anywhere and especially, I know they feel like the running backs that they have in the back are better. They just got rid of, I know whoever Steve, I don't know if Steve or this gentleman right here mentioned that we should be talking about the trade with Brian Robinson. He's gone, but I'll be honest with you, he didn't move the needle for me the time he's been there. I mean, he might be a good blocker, but he give you like about 700-800 yards a season, and he was okay. I think they're going to do okay with the other guys that are there. You got a trio of running backs. Each one has a different thing they bring to the game, and I think the biggest issue is not having that wide receiver on the field, and I think he knows he has a little bit of leverage. That's why he's trying to get his last big contract, and he should get it more so. If I had to choose out of the two, I think it'd be Terry McLaurin to get the contract than Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I don't know where those rumors are coming from there, Robbie, because I haven't seen any of those rumors. In fact, what I saw coming from the Washington media was that they were not trading. They're going to try to work out a contract, bang it out with him, and get him playing or get him paid. They weren't even putting him on a trade block at all. As far as Robinson goes, going to San Francisco has CMC, but you don't know what he's going to turn out to be. I mean, takes one good hit, that might be the end of his career. They do have other good running backs on that roster, but those are running backs that are hurt too. So having Robinson on there is good. He's a decent running back. He's not the flash of CMC. He's not the flash of Bijan Robinson. He's not the flash of Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's a decent running back that'll get you some yards, hard running yards. He can run between the tackles. So that was a good pickup for San Francisco, I believe. And Washington wants to go with their youth movement. They have very good young running backs on there. So, I mean, with that being said, it was a good trade for both teams.
I will say he will spell some carries for C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey, and take a little bit of wear and tear off of him to allow him to, prolong his career. Especially, C-Mac will probably be more of the receiving back, and he'll take the bulk of the heavy load in interior running or zone running scheme if that's what they're running.
Yeah, and with that also, I mean, there was a couple other trades that were made that were pretty good. I thought we talked about this on Wednesday too, about the Jets and getting a defensive tackle from Minnesota, Jordan Phillips, which is pretty good for them. People are saying, well, that sucks for Minnesota because now they just lost an interior lineman that can.
They have Bullet, right?
They have Hargrove and a new
Bullard.
young guy. I think they.
Well, they got Jonathan Bullard too, though. I think.
Let me see what they got. I think I remember who. Pretty much. Let's see what they got here.
Yeah, Javon Hargrove and Jonathan Bullard.
And then, of course, they got. Let's see. They got Jonathan Allen. They got Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Harris.
Yeah, Jonathan Allen. That's what I meant.
Yeah. They also got, you got to remember, too, the linebacker core. They got pretty good linebackers, too. Those aren't no slouches. They got Cashman, Ivan Pace Jr. This will be his second year, I believe. They got Eric Wilson. So, I mean, they got defense to take over for the fact that they don't have Phillips anymore. So, looks like they just removed Phillips from their roster because it was there this morning. Good job, PR people. But anyway, yeah. So, I mean, that's good for the Jets, though. I know I can see where Aaron Glenn is building like Dan Campbell had built for the Lions. He's building inside out, so he's building the lines up. That's what Aaron Glenn is going to do. We know that the Jets aren't going to be going anywhere their first year. That's just the progression of changing the culture, getting everybody on the same page. You're running a different offense. You're running a different defense. Those things are going to happen. So I don't see them making a progressive. I think they'll finish third in that division because it's Miami's just falling apart. But other than
my question to you is, I know they picked up Phillips. What's going on with Quinnen Williams? I know he got hurt for a little bit. Is he back?
That's probably. Well, they got from Cleveland. They got his name is Ringo, something like that. They got another defensive tackle, and I think right now because Quinnen Williams is injured, he'll be back for the first game. But they have to put somebody in there to replace him. So I think they got that guy from Cleveland for him. And the Phillips one was just something that fell in their lap. So, I mean, their defense should be fine. But, again, they're going through a different defensive coordinator. It's not Robert Saleh anymore. It's I forgot who the hell they have as a defensive coordinator. But the offense is going to change because he brought over one of the coaches from the Lions that was a quarterback's coach or passing game coach for the Lions. So, I mean, those things are going to change. Like I said, I don't really expect them to be blah, blah. So,
well, yeah, I agree with the Matt Yinzer regarding Alec Pierce, but I don't know if he's on the trading block or not. I haven't heard this, but I wouldn't be so in a rush to get rid of him, especially if you've got Daniel Jones as your starting quarterback. He's going to need all hands on deck.
Yeah, help his guy. I mean, he's got a pretty good tight end. got a pretty good. They got a pretty decent offense. But other than that, I mean, their defense is not good. Their offense is pretty good. Their defense is shaky. But
Yeah, I mean, but
again,
Joshua Downs, Adonai Mitchell, Pittman, Taylor as a running back. I mean, weapons are all around this guy. So
it's just
I
on the
mentioned,
offensive line.
yes, that's the question. So,
Yeah,
but
because they get
Daniel Jones,
most.
if Daniel Jones can't succeed here, though, he can't succeed anywhere because he didn't have this many riches in New York.
I really don't think that the current regime in Indianapolis, Irsay's daughters, are caring about that particular instance right now, whether he'll succeed or not. I think that what they're going to do after this season, wherever they finish in that division, they are cleaning house. They will get rid of, unless they want to think they can make Richardson a project. Because I listened to a couple. Actually, Kurt Warner had a very good point on Richardson. It says we don't do well. The NFL doesn't do what they used to do back in the 90s with quarterbacks. Let them sit down, understand the game, get them prepared, and all that stuff. They just throw them right into the wolves. And the same thing happened with Trey Lance. But you see how Trey Lance is becoming a better quarterback now because he's had time to progress. Whereas when you just threw him in there as a starter, he was garbage because he only had 19 starts in college. And Richardson only had 17. So, I mean,
1,800 reps to be exact versus someone like Jaden Daniels that has 6,000 reps in college.
Exactly. And it's just ridiculous. So, and I agree with them. They should take their time on these quarterbacks that don't have a lot of playing time in college. Just because they have athletic ability doesn't mean they have the brain power yet to understand certain defenses in the NFL. They need to be out there looking at stuff like that. And both Trey, like I said, Trey Lance is a perfect example of that. You have him sit down behind things. And I think that's the reason why I like Daniel Jones. A lot of people are, Oshkoshing him. But remember, he was in Minnesota. And he was there with a quarterback's guru in KOC. So if you learned behind him and saw everything in front of him, they didn't play him at all. I think they might have played him once, and it was because Minnesota was blowing out somebody. That he got to look at that offense and say, well, this is what I got to do. And of course, he had people around him telling him. And KOC was probably like, see, this is what you're doing here. They might. I don't think they had the intention of keeping him anyway, but just to have him on here to get his head right, I think that's what it was. A lot of that is get his head right. And KOC was like, you need to, learn plays, blah, 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 get better at it because he's a decent quarterback. He had one really good season in with the Giants. And everybody keeps referring to him tripping over the damn line when he was running. But I mean, a lot of quarterbacks will go through them memes and them failures and stuff like that. But that's what's part of growing up as a quarterback is like. So,
well, this begs to ask the question. Like you bringing up all three quarterbacks, they were all three high draft picks. We're talking about Anthony Richardson for number 4 overall, Dane Jones number 6 overall, and who else did we mention? You mentioned in the third quarter. Trey Lance, yes, he was number 3 overall, I think. Yep. And they traded up. They traded up and gave up a lot for him.
Yep.
My thing is, why draft these quarterbacks that high when they should be like a second at highest, a second round quarterback, at lowest maybe a third or a fourth. And I guess they're figuring other people are going to want them. But if you need a quarterback, you should, do it like you just said. Take a guy like this, like just say maybe in Seattle, they picked up Jalen Milroe in the third. Mm-hmm. That was good because he has some traits that are there, but there's some things that he needs to work on as well. But you got him in the third. I think that's a good value there. And you can let him sit. You can let him sit behind a quarterback that's established, who was a third overall, had some issues, but then, like you said, went to the quarterback whisperer in Kevin O'Connell and had a great season. He might have fell off at the end, but this is the best we ever seen of Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. And so now Jalen Milroe can kind of sit there. I don't know what's going to happen in Seattle. I don't know if there's a quarterback whisperer there, but maybe he can sit there and learn from what maybe under Sam Darnold and pick up some things and become a little bit better and maybe understand the game a little bit more. It slows down for you once you come into the game. Because in New Orleans, prime example, we got a quarterback by the name of Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler was a fifth round draft pick. Probably could have been drafted higher, just considering where he was as a college prep. He was a 5-star quarterback, had success at Oklahoma, got beat out by Caleb Williams, went to South Carolina, had some decent years, but he was drafted in the fifth round. He played 6 games, started 6 games. He lost all 6. But to be fair to him, he had terrible players. He had second and third strings that were around him, but he did the best he could with what he had. Now, in training camp and in preseason, the game looks like it's slowed down for him. And by all intents and purposes, he looks to be the starter for the opening game. Now, is he the guy they want, that Kellen Moore wants? Probably not. They wouldn't have drafted Tyler Shuck in the second round. But the game has slowed down for him, and he looks better in his second year, probably going into into the season. And so I would say the same for some of these other players. Anthony Richardson, he's got some major flaws, but I think he's got some promise as well with some of the gifts that he has. He's just got to work on some things. Like you said, he probably would do good to sit on a bench.
He needs to sit, yep, and somebody needs to take their time with him and show him NFL defenses. He knows the speed of it now since he's played in a couple of seasons. So he knows the speed. What he just needs to do is know how to react to certain things. When you have 17 games in college, that's nothing. It's really not anything to have that. And a lot of teams like to get these players because of their athletic ability without understanding, well, along with athletic ability, if you're going to get that player with athletic ability and he's a quarterback, you got to also understand, in a short time of college, you also understand he's not going to understand a whole bunch, even college standards. He wouldn't be ready. So I would say that you would have to have him sit down and behind any quarterback. It's like Ewers playing in Miami. He's in a perfect situation too, because Tua is there. Tua can be his mentor or whatever the case may be. I mean, Mike McDaniel is a very good offensive coach, and he's a pretty good, a decent quarterbacks kind of whisper guy. But at the same time, he's in a perfect position too. There's nobody saying he's going to start anytime soon. It's just like the Giants. They were talking about this this is another big story that they had. Jackson Dart's been tearing it up during the preseason. But at the same time, you're not putting him in there starting. That would be bad for him. There's enough quarterbacks ahead of him, even if he was second. I mean, Winston is as seasoned as he is. And then you got Russell. I mean, Russell's really got to crash and burn for somebody to replace him. I believe in this. And it all depends on what Brian Daboll sees in his future. I mean,
I think right now, I think they have Jackson as the second, with Jameis as third. I think. But with that said, Daboll has gone on record in saying Russell Wilson is our starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson is now. Does that mean he's not on a short leash? Does it mean that if something goes wrong in the middle of the season, or what happened to the Steelers towards the end of the season when they played, he lost about 5 games, I think, the last 5 or so games, or 6, excuse me. Does that mean that he's not on a short leash and they unleashed Jackson Dart? I don't think so. I think that Jackson Dart is waiting, licking his chops. He's going to get out there if Russell doesn't ball out and take the Giants to the promised land.
And again, he could be licking his chops all he wants, but the point is, sit him down for a while. If the Giants season's not going good, they got a hellacious first 8 games they got to play. I don't even know if they can make it. If they're 1-8 or 1-7 in that period of time, I mean, I'm sure they're going to look to Jackson. But it's all it's all on Brian Daboll, because if he feels his job is threatened, he's going to do anything he's going to do to win.
Exactly.
So he keeps his job and keep going with the guys that he brought in. So I don't know how that's going to react. Hopefully the Giants at least have an even record by that time. If they're 4-4, that means they're doing better than anybody expected them to do, and that might help Daboll out. make a better decision about Jackson Dart. So we'll see. I mean, everything is speculatory at this point because it's getting toward the beginning of the season. I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I can't wait till the first game of football, man. I just can't. So I can see all these people tripping over themselves, all these analysts tripping over themselves after the first game is played again. Like, oh man, I didn't know that was going to happen. Yeah, well, that's what you get for making statements before stuff happens. And preseason doesn't tell you anything. Preseason just helps you out a little bit, and the players that are in it. But other than that, when you get to full force football and you're playing against different defensive packages, offensive packages, and this is what they're talking about Caleb too. They're talking about this with Caleb too. You know, talking to Ben Johnson about Caleb, and you see, you know, he's got to learn different defensive fronts. I mean, when they played Buffalo and they beat them 38-0, I mean, that was all good and dandy. But Buffalo didn't have any starters on the field. They started their second and thirds. They didn't have no starters on the field. So I mean, it's easy to do that. He was looking at and when they broke down his drives, he was going to the first guy he was open instead of progressing because he didn't have to. But what is going to happen when you go against a defense where they're going to make you go off your first receiver and go to your second receiver or go to your hot read, whatever the case may be? What are you going to do then? And that's what Ben Johnson wants to see in Caleb. So,
I mean, I think we may, yeah, it's a potential. I mean, we had, like you said, maybe they're not giving their best as well in preseason because obviously offenses they're not going to give you. They're going to throw all the tricks and all the meat of the bone off the bone. They're just going to show you just a little bit of a little seasoning. They ain't gonna put that spice out there yet.
And there's no spice. It's just vanilla. It's just, dessert.
Yeah, it's just very vanilla. Exactly.
It's just a little bit of vanilla in a pie there.
Well, speaking of spice,
yeah,
we missing out on the everybody talking about the reaction of Shedeur Sanders to the Dylan Gabriel comments.
I mean, that's another drama that's going to play itself out to the point. I mean, Joe Flacco's the starting quarterback until he isn't. As much heat that Cleveland has taken for this, I can kind of see through the print. Shedeur's going to be the second. Gabriel's going to be the third. What are they going to do with whatever they're going to do? They're going to probably put Pickett on IR so he doesn't go to the practice squad and get snatched up. And we're not even talking about Huntley because Huntley was just there because of the quarterback injuries. He'll probably won't be there. But drama is just creating drama. That's all. I
mean, speaking of drama, do you think there's any credence to what Eric Dickerson, the former NFL player, Hall of Famer, went on Roggins and Rodney Pete, that is, their podcast, and said that it was collusion amongst the owners. He got it from a great NFL source that it was collusion and they were going to make an example out of Shedeur and not draft him at all. He was going to go undrafted, and then someone else intercepted and said, "Don't do that." When I say intercepted, he called Cleveland and told them to draft him. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true any of this is, but the fact that a former NFL player is coming out and defending him, he's saying that the NFL. I listened to a little more context. He said the NFL has done some great things, but they've also done some heinous things. So would he put it past them to have done something like this? He said no. But he said his source is a very, very, very good source. And so, I mean, everybody, yes, exactly. Everybody's speaking on this. I don't know, I don't know what to make of that. But I like what Shedeur said in regards to the Dylan Gabriel comment, how he handled the media. He didn't say that he didn't say that whether or not he believed him or not. He said whether or not it's true or not. Words are not going to faze me.
Right.
And that's what I was glad about him saying and how he handled that.
Yeah, I think that Eric Dickerson it's kind of like players trying to find some fame in a little bit of what they talk to. Now, see, what he's saying is something that fits a lot of people's narratives of what they think the NFL did, and which is fine, I guess, for those people who follow that narrative. And I'm sure the NFL is not they're not innocent in this whole thing either. It's just the fact that nothing happened to Eric Dickerson on his way out of that interview. So that tells you one thing, that the NFL wasn't trying to come after him and assassinate him for saying stuff that might be true. So, I mean, or try to blacklist him or whatever the case may be. Because the NFL will do their job and do that for sure. I just
John
think
Gruden understands that fully.
Yeah. That's why he's fighting the power. But I mean, I like Eric Dickerson. I do. And the whole conversation stemmed from the fact that the Rams did not pick him up, Shedeur Sanders, that is. Look, you can't pick everybody up, because if you have quarterbacks, I mean, if I'm sure if the Lions knew what they knew now about their backup situation, they might have picked up Shedeur. But at the same time, I mean, you got quarterback, you have a starting quarterback, and Shedeur is going to be a starting quarterback one day in the NFL. So you want to kind of mold that whole situation. It's so tough to navigate this whole thing with Shedeur, because you see him, he played well in preseason, but again, it's preseason. He did play against the Carolina's first starting defense, but let's be for real, for Carolina's defense, okay? They're not very good. And they didn't have Jor Horn out there. They have a couple of their players that were starting out there anyway. So, I mean, and Gabriel, he was okay, but he did throw it. Well, the interception, I wouldn't call it totally his fault. That was his receivers being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I think he had a pretty good – but again, it's preseason. How are you going to measure anything in preseason? I mean, you can see doing basic stuff and basic reaction times, I can understand. But if you're just like going against the grain and like, oh, well, he's going to be a great quarterback. It's like Jackson Dart. I mean, yeah, he had a great preseason, but again, he played against seconds too, and second and third string players too. So, I mean, really, he had good poise. I'll put you to that way. You see how these quarterbacks react under pressure. And I think Shedeur had very good poise. Dylan had good poise in some of his attempts. He was 5 for 5 on third downs. That's something he did better than Shedeur. But like I said, he didn't score no touchdowns either. Shedeur had 2 nice thread touchdowns when he played. So it's going to be weird.
I think you can only do with what's put in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
With the opportunities that you get, it's what you do with those opportunities. And I think both quarterbacks made really good on their opportunities, but I just think that Shedeur, with those 2 touchdowns, he made a little bit better. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, he's still third under Dylan Gabriel. But that just tells me there may be some credence to this, because it seems like Cleveland, regardless of what Shedeur is giving them, they want who they want.
Well, Steve, I'll just be glad we're not talking about the 49ers.
Chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah, chitty chitty bang bang for real. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, this is really as the wheel turns, one of the soap operas. This is going to be very interesting NFL season. Probably one that most people are going to really pay attention to. And for all intents and purposes, that's what the NFL wants you to do. So, got to make it some kind of drama. If it ain't Jerry Jones, then it's Roger Goodell, or if it ain't Roger Goodell, it's Shedeur Sanders. It's somebody we're gonna putting on the front line.
You know what, B? Let's.
Sorry, Steve. That was a cheap shot.
You know what, B? Since we got Steve on here and he's saying we're talking about shitty teams,
yeah.
Let's talk about a team that we think that might surprise. Let's pick our surprise team that we think, and let's obviously not be biased, but let's pick a surprise team we think that might do something this season. Somebody that was chitty last year and will not so chitty this year.
That's fair. You go
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
though. Start it
Okay.
off.
I'm going to say, and boy, if A-Train is listening to this, I'm going to say the Giants might be better than what they were last year. And they actually look like it. I mean, they made great strides on defense. They got a few players. Obviously, they got their number 3 overall, number 2 overall
Who's that?
in
Abdul?
the
3.
Abdul Carter. Yeah, he's number
Yeah.
3. So for him to fall to the Giants like that, and to add with Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, that's gonna be scary times for some offenses. I think but I saw one play, and I think it was just a highlight. Uh, Abdul Carter got slammed down to the ground. He got pancaked by an
Oh, a
offensive
tight
lineman.
end. No, it was a tight
Tight
end.
end. Oh, and that's embarrassing. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's very embarrassing. But that's a welcome to the NFL experience, and I think he'll bounce
Mhm.
back from that.
Yeah.
But because he's a talented player. But I think with their offensive moves they made as well with the quarterback position, I, the offensive line might be still a little shaky. We'll see. But preseason is preseason, but they still look better. Even from last year, they look better, visibly better as a team. So I think they're going to make some strides and potentially make the playoffs, considering this is Brian Daboll's probably hot seat year, but considering they try to make a little bit better. Yeah, I
Playoffs. Ooh.
or winning season. Let's just put it there. I'll give them at least a winning
That's
season.
even a stretch, though. Their defense is fabulous. It's going to keep them in games, but their offensive line is still, dude, and their running game is still. I'm not sold on Scatterboo being a guy.
Oh man,
They got
me neither.
Singletary. It's that those two
Well, Tyrone
aspects
Tracy.
right there.
Tyrone Tracy's not bad, but
Yeah, he's okay.
yeah,
But
he's
again,
okay.
he's not. Yeah. He's good for once in a while on some drives. But again, he's not a feature. I mean, he's not a back that you would feature. It's their feature back because that's the best one they have. But at the same time, I just their offense is just I think they'll be better at quarterback. Obviously, whoever they put in there. And if Neighbors can stay healthy, that will be good. They got decent pieces. I mean, that's not the problem. But the offensive line is everything, man. Let me tell you. In the running game, if you can't run the ball and you're just one dimensional, dude, you ain't gonna win too many games that way because you got to score points. Your defense can't score all your points, So
right.
It's going to be interesting. And then if they play a good team with a good offensive line, but I can see it. I just the winning record in the playoff thing though. Ooh, I think they'll be a much improved team. But did you have anyone is that the only team that you had for the NFC or do you have one for the AFC?
AFC. I like the Raiders. I think the Raiders might be improved as well. I like the quarterback position, Geno Smith, with his old coach. I like the running back. Running back, now they have a running game. They're going to have a running game, and I like their tight end. Pause. We're talking about Brock Bowers here. I'd like him to bounce back and be what he was before. And I just think they're going to be he picked Atlanta last year. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, let's just say they should, because they have a lot of first round talent offensively. So you should. Will they? That's the question that
That's the
puzzles all our minds. That's definitely a
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. They just lost their right tackle for the season. That's not good.
Yeah,
When you lose a
that's real
starter.
bad, especially when Penix is a left-hand quarterback. You can't. That's bad.
Yeah.
He's a starter too. That's gonna be bad.
Yeah. You heard about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been talking all about that too on NFL Network. So yeah, it's not looking good for Atlanta for that piece. That's not good at all. That's like us losing Ragnow at center. I mean, Glasgow's capable, but he's not Ragnow.
It's hard to replace offensive linemen at this point of the season. Yes.
I mean, Philadelphia did a very good job of replacing Jason Kelsey.
But that was way at the beginning, right? They were able to. He retired.
Yeah, he retired. He retired. Did he retire after the year before? Did he retire after that season, or did he retire during the off season?
I think it was during the off season, but they were before draft and everything else. They were able to pick somebody up. They had somebody.
At least he told him before that. Ragnar didn't quite do that, but that's fine. We still got some offensive linemen, so I mean that's all a project too. I'm agree with you on the Raiders, though. I think just having a stable quarterback and a great head coach will change that organization totally around.
And a running game. And I think defensively they're sound as well. I like Max Crosby, and supposedly Tyree. What's the kid's name? The other bookend. He's supposed to be looking a lot faster. Came out of Texas Tech. He's the high drafted. He's borderline bust. He's looking a lot faster. We'll see how that works. But definitely love Max Crosby. So I think the Raiders. But I know Jack said in the AFC. Was it West? That's going to be a really tough outing for them. I don't know. I'm not. I think we looked at the Chiefs and how they barely won games. They might. Tyree Wilson. Thank you. Yes, exactly. He's supposed to look a lot better. Thank you. And the Chiefs, I think they might regress.
That's what a lot of
Broncos are on the up and up. They're moving up.
I mean, regressing though is a funny term because Kansas City has gone to the Super Bowl. You know, they say they might finish at 11-6 or 10-7, but they went to the Super Bowl with that record. I mean, they can do it. And it's just like the Lions. Oh, you guys are gonna no stuff. They were 15-2, and they're playing a tough division, and they're playing two tough divisions outside. So I mean, outside of their division. So I mean. Yeah, they're not going to be 15-2. No team in that conference is going to be 15-2. I want to see somebody try to be 15-2 in that division because they're all beating up on each other. First of all, then they got to go to the AFC North and then they got to go to the AFC East. So between those two, those are a couple of losses for every team in that division. So regression is a weird thing to say, but
Pat Mahomes, I mean, he hadn't had. Ever since Tyreek Hill has gone, he hadn't had those seasons like he had with the big numbers and everything like that. And are we looking at the end of Travis Kelce? I mean, he supposedly got in shape. He wasn't in good shape last year. Rashee Rice was not there. Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to stay within the speed limit of the I mean, these are all questions that are real factual, legit questions. I mean, I like Kansas City, and I think I picked him. Captain Jack's in the show. What's up, Captain Jack?
We're just talking about your Raiders, buddy.
We talking about your Raiders. I picked them, man, to be better, brother. I hope you're there too. I mean, give us some insight on the Raiders because I think they're going to be good. I think the Raiders are going to be a lot better, and I'm giving them props because I think Kansas City. I think they're going to regress, and I think the Broncos are probably the team to be the team. But I like the Raiders to be maybe potentially a wild card. So I think the Broncos win a division. Yeah, that's okay, man. Just give us some of that information. Yes, they are a lot better. I agree. And what do you think about your running back, man?
Yeah, we still got to wait for the regular season for the rookies. I mean, that's a big thing too. Like I said, you could do all the playing time you want with the rookies, but it's how they look when they're under fire, real fire, not that blank vanilla stuff that they've been facing. You pick the Donkeys to win. That's got to be tough for you, Cap Jack, to pick the Donkeys to win the division. That's got to be tough.
I'm picking them too. I'm not going to call them donkeys, but I'm definitely going to pick them to win. Yes, Genty is definitely a stud, man. I'm going to tell you, Captain Jack, you know who Genty reminds me of? He reminds me of Emmitt Smith, man. He's stocky, he's short, and if he has an offensive line, man, I seen him knock that guy on the ground with that that shoulder, man. He put him in the crowd. He just kept going. I like it, man. I think he's going to be great. But I think the Raiders have a shot to win 9, 10 wins this season. So,
Yeah,
and Gino,
division.
It's going to be a tough division. Who's the other team in that division? Who's the other team? I mentioned 3.
Yeah, you forgot about the Chargers.
Yes. Ooh, yes. Yes.
It's a tough division. It's going to be probably like the NFC North was last year. So it's going to be real tough. The only thing I don't like about the Raiders is their offensive line as well. I'm not too sold on their offensive line. Genti's going to have to he's really going to have to adjust, because when it comes, like I said, when he gets put into the line of fire, we're going to see what he's made of as a rookie. Because, that division is going to be real hard to win.
Maybe it'll be 3 teams like the NFC North. Maybe it'll be three teams that make the playoffs. But you're right, man. Jim Harbaugh and Sean Payton. Wow. And Andy Reid in that division. Wow. And Pete Carroll. Wow. Pete Carroll, these are all Super Bowl, at least Super Bowl appearing coaches. Wow. That's gonna be something to watch, Jack. Yes. Sean Payton won. And Andy Reid won one, and Jim Harbaugh won a national championship, and he benched the Super Bowl, and he played as a quarterback in the AFC Championship. And people don't forget Captain Comeback. Jim Harbaugh played for the Indianapolis Colts, and they barely missed the Super Bowl.
They will win more games. They will win more games they did last year. Yeah.
Yep, I agree too.
Definitely. They're going to probably be, the team that I can have them compatible against is on the NFC side is Chicago. I think Chicago is going to be better too. I think Chicago can be a 9-8 team, just like the Raiders can be a 9-8 team. I think they have just enough firepower. The coaching, the offense for the Chicago Bears will be better. I don't think they're going to win a division. I don't think either one of them will win a division, but they'll be competitive. Trust me. They will both be competitive. So
did you see that?
What's that?
The Steve-O?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Don't be mad because that was your former coach. They're talking about Harbaugh, right? He's talking about Harbaugh?
Yeah.
Come on, that was your former coach, man. He brought you to an NFC Championship.
Mm-hmm. After 4 weeks, they play in Vegas. Oh, yeah, Chicago does have to play Vegas. That'll be a good one. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell Steve-O this. Caleb Williams is going to be the first Chicago Bear to throw for 4,000 yards, whether you like him or not. Mm-hmm. They got a coach that's going to bring it out of him. I'm just telling you.
Hey, leave Jim Harbaugh alone. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Ask Pete Carroll that.
Yeah. Pete Carroll's good for that one too. Yeah.
Yes. All you saw Pete Carroll was the bottom of his feet when he left for Seattle. When he left to go to Seattle. When he left USC. He knew what the hell was going on. No, but that's okay.
You suck. You if you're cheating, you suck. But you got a coach like that. So just remember that. Well, nobody was held accountable because both of them got away with it. So whatever the case may be, whatever you think, it doesn't make a difference. What it is. Nobody stripped any. The only thing that happened, then they gave the titles back to USC anyway. They put everything back on what's his face? Bush, Reggie Bush, gave him his stuff back too. It was,
and Steve-O, don't hate the player, hate the game. If you play poker with your card showing, shame on you.
Right.
You're the problem.
Exactly. Bill Belichick approves cheating. So everybody cheats. Everybody. If you're not, again, it's a funny thing.
The NFL approves cheating. They would have gave him a slap on the wrist if they felt like he had 2 things: Spygate and Deflategate. Come on, man.
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. It's not just a moniker and something funny to say, but it's true in the NFL, in any sport. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So it's about winning. That's all right. It is what it is. But anyway,
you might have to find a new line of work, Steve-O.
But anyway, we are going to leave you with the scores so far. Philadelphia in the fourth quarter is winning 19-3 over the Jets. Atlanta's losing 10-24 to the Cowboys in the third. Tennessee's beating the Vikings 17-10 in the third. And at halftime, the Chiefs are beating the Bears 20-10. And with that, we will talk to you next week. Hopefully, we might have an extra person. Tip. Anyway.
And also, Steve will probably believes nobody in the NFL does PEDs.
Yeah. Saying, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thumbs up, everybody. There you go, buddy. All right. We will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock a.m. for the debate show, and on Sunday at 8 o'clock a.m. for the Sunday morning sports show. Until then, folks, have a good night and a good weekend.
Winner lose a man a winner, and that's for certain. Never take no program, come me and me own dance. So me go and shut and tell them man a winner, yeah. Tap up down a Jonah, turn in a